Welcome back to Fit and Well with FWA. I'm your host, Andra Anderson, and it's great to catch up with you again this week. So, as we approach spring and the inevitable summer that follows, a lot of questions that I get are geared around body composition. And I've sort of made it a declaration to myself after witnessing and seeing some trainers that I follow sort of take a negative approach to questions that typically women will ask about strength, where they don't use the word strength, right? So a lot of times when I'm approached and asked questions about body composition related to strength, the words that come out are like toning and sculpting and burn fat and things like that, when at the core of it, what people are really asking about is muscle definition. But those are not usually the words utilized, and that has been a major source of contention for a lot of trainers, where they're trying to promote overall endurance and strength and full body health. And the media really pushes the vanity side of it, the muscle definition, the sculpted abs, all of those different things, which don't always equate to good health. When I had my tightest physique, I was my most unhealthy. I was meticulously counting calories to the point that it was sort of devastating for me. You know, I didn't have a very good sleep schedule. I was spending hours working out, teaching multiple classes, and doing my own workout on top of it. So, not that that's a bad thing if that's how you want to spend your time, but it took more effort than it was worth to get to that place. And when I look back and think about it, I just wasn't happy. So when somebody asks me about sculpting or burning fat or toning or increasing muscle look overall, I try to get at the root of what they're really asking. And I would say 9 times out of 10, maybe even 9.5 times out of 10, what people are looking for is a strength-based program. Now, that doesn't sound as sexy as sculpted abs or tight toned arms or whatever it might be, right? Strength just doesn't sound as sexy. But over time, strength is what will make you feel and look your sexiest. The more you focus on your strength, the better overall your body will be. Now, a caveat to that, I think the tide is turning a little bit, but when I originally started my fitness profession, most of my female clients were concerned with vanity, right? How they looked, burning calories and losing weight. And sometimes when you build strength, you might not lose any weight, but your body composition will look different. You're gonna take up less space. Your clothes are gonna fit a little bit better, but the scale might not move. And that was always such a deterrent. And I sort of shifted my offerings to be more along the lines of, calorie burning classes and aerobics and fitness that was sweaty. You would sweat and do, all kinds of intensive things. And not saying that's a bad thing. There's a place for that. And I'm happy to provide that spot in the week for people in their overall strength conditioning formats. But strength is definitely where it's at if you're looking to make any major body composition changes. But it can be a little daunting. If I say to somebody, oh, what you're looking for is a strength-based program, I usually get blinks, okay, just tell me what to do. Write out exactly what I have to do and tell me how many reps, tell me what I'm picking up, tell me which machine or weight I'm using, make it exact. You're like, okay, here we go. So I wanted to visit this topic of building strength, and I have kind of 5 tips when it comes to approaching building strength. And again, these are tips. This is not like an exact roadmap for you. Every body is going to train differently, and every body is going to need something a little bit different in terms of what it is their end goal is looking like, or how their body shows up, or where they've been already with fitness. So if you've never ever tried to load or add strength to your routine, maybe body weight is a great place to start. You're not going to go into the gym and be squatting 200, 300, 400 pounds. You're not going to go from 0 to 60 very quickly with strength. It's an incremental approach. So I always will tell people, start with body weight if you've never done anything with strength before. You'll start to notice changes even with just starting with body weight, even without adding any additional load. And that might be good. You might feel stronger. You might be able to lift a child or a grandchild. It might allow you to do the things that you want to do in your everyday life just fine. But if you're looking to make any major body composition changes, you're going to have to add a little bit of load to your strength training. So maybe starting with body weight and then maybe slowly increasing from there. And everybody's full max load is going to be different based on your goals. So just remember those things. It's a very personalized approach and should take a personalized plan. And that's what having a trainer is for. So here are my 5 tips for building strength. I don't do anything without a plan. So you wouldn't just show up at the gym, lift a couple of weights, do a few bicep curls, do a couple of hamstring curls, and then call it a day and be like, that was great. I'll come back and try something different tomorrow. Maybe to get to know the gym and the setup, and to get to know, maybe you do 1 rep of different movements just to see, what does this feel like on my body? How does this work? What does this exercise actually look like? Maybe that's fine if you want to explore. But if you are looking to make any kind of changes to your body, you're gonna wanna have a plan. So you wanna start with that end goal of, where is it that I'm going? What is it that I'm hoping to do? Maybe your goal is to do 25 push-ups, and you wanna build your strength to do 25 push-ups. With that, do you think your plan probably has some push-ups in it? If you can't see me, I'm nodding my head vigorously. Yes, yes, it probably has some push-ups in it to lead you to do push-ups, but there might be some additional movements. It's a push and a pull. Maybe you have to do a little lateral movement. There are other things that you can do to increase your push-up ability. So we're going to go into it with a plan when it comes to strength training. And I'm still old school. I will give people a paper if they want that. I will put together a Google Doc if you want that. So it's something we can both be able to access and look at any time, make changes as necessary. You want to have a plan. You want to know when you're going in, okay, today we are doing push-pull. Today we are doing lower body, leg day. Today we are doing back and biceps. You want to have a plan, and with it, in that plan, this is number 2, you want to account for some rest. If you are adding strength into your routine, it's not something that you want to do every single day. Fun fact, muscles are not built in the gym. Muscles are built during periods of rest. In the gym, you are tearing the muscles and giving them space to pull apart so they can rebuild. But the rest is how the rebuild happens. And what do you think happens in rest? So rest includes drinking fluids. Rest includes the physical act of sleeping and sleeping well. So not just, I got 5 hours, or what's the thing from Elf? Got the full 45 minutes. We are good to go. Your muscles cannot be repaired in 45 minutes of sleep a night. And it depends on your age for how much sleep you really should have. But the average adult probably needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And maybe that sounds ludicrous. If you have tiny, tiny children, you're probably not getting that. And this might not be the time to do an intensive strength program until they can sleep through the night. But muscle building needs rest. Strength building needs rest. Body composition changing needs rest. Maybe you are doing strength type workouts 3 times a week, and the other days of the week, maybe you're doing some walking or biking, maybe swimming, maybe you're doing some yoga, maybe you're doing some bar is a great one, something that is different from the heavy load of strength training or even that body weight training. So that you want to have a plan. And number 2, that plan should include some rest time. So you want to also focus on your nutrition in that rest time. So like protein would be a great thing if you're looking to build your muscles. Muscles need protein to be built, but you want to have a pretty good balance of all of your different macronutrients. So your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. And again, like every answer I have, it's going to be different for each individual, what it is exactly that you might require for your macros. I love sharing MyFitnessPal. That's a great macronutrient tracker. If you work with a nutritionist, they might even have a different program for you to work on understanding what your best macronutrients might be to achieve what it is you would like to achieve, your goal. So we're making a plan, we're configuring some rest time into that plan, and while we're in our plan, we're gonna focus on form. So I always tell clients, form over load. You wanna get the form down first without any added weight. See how it feels on your body. See how it feels a couple of days later on your body to do a particular workout, a particular movement, maybe a squat. Everybody's gonna squat just a little bit differently. Now, I took a conditioning, I can't even remember what it was called in high school, where you got like a grade for the movements that you did. And we were judged on going to a 90-degree squat. But something that I learned later in my fitness training, and this may not have even been like the most up-to-date information at that time, was that I can actually squat lower, and it's better for me. I get more results if so instead of squatting to just a 90-degree where your hips line up with your knees, my hips can actually go a little bit lower than my knees. And to me, that feels more like a squat. That achieves the feeling that you want to be able to feel. So everybody's form for a squat is gonna look a little differently. Some people have their toes forward. I like my toes slightly turned outward. It's gonna it's gonna feel differently on your body based on how your feet are, how wide your legs are, that kind of thing. But for the most part, I like to go a little bit lower and stand a little bit wider. But some people might really enjoy a narrow squat and going to that 90 degrees, and that's a squat for them, and that feels really good, and that's what they can handle. So again, it's gonna be different for everybody. But I want you to focus on form. Building strength can only happen as you progressively load, but if you're progressively loading and you have bad form, what do you think might happen? Maybe some injuries. Maybe you're not gonna get the most optimum performance if you're not doing the movement correctly for your body. And that's where a trainer comes in to help watch you, to help coach you. How's that feeling? Scale of 1 to 10. How's this looking 3 days later? How did that feel? Was it a soreness, or was it injury feeling? What different drills can we walk you through to see how your body responds to certain types of movement? So form is everything. Form is everything when it comes to strength. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I really encourage body weight movement before adding load, especially if you've never really focused on strength before. Body weight goes a long way if you are a beginner. And honestly, even if you're like not a beginner, but just getting back into building strength. I love body weight workouts, love them. The next one, this is important. So we're making a plan. That plan includes rest. We're focusing on form. The fourth one, we gotta measure our progress. Not only do you have that plan of, okay, today we're doing 10 reps of squats with a 45-pound weight, literally the weight of the bar. Maybe that's what you do for 10, and then maybe your next set is 8 at, 60 pounds. You're going lower on your reps, but higher on your weight over time. Maybe that's your plan for the day. I want to know how you felt in that moment and also how you felt the next day and 2 days later. Did it feel good? Did it feel like anything? Did you have extreme soreness? Maybe we back off a little bit from that weight. Did you feel perfectly fine? Could you have gone a little bit heavier? How did you feel at that last rep? Could you have done another one, or was that all you could do at that level? We want to measure what's happening in the moment, but then also your progress. I was about to call them before and after photos, and I stopped myself there. During and during photos. So we want to take a photo before we begin this new strength thing, and then maybe in 2 weeks, take another photo. Maybe in 2 weeks, take another photo. When it comes to strength training, sometimes you might not see the scale move, and that can be really tough for clients that are not used to strength training. You're just used to calories in, calories out. If I lose weight, I'm doing good. Not always the case with strength training. Strength training is going to change your body composition. That might not change your weight, but that's going to change how much fat is in your body, how much visceral fat is around your waistline. That's going to change the way that your body looks and how you fit into your clothing. So there are many measures that go beyond the scale. Now, the only big time that I'm a proponent of using a scale is for my runners who are training in extreme heat. I need you to hop on the scale before and after your run to determine how much water you really need to drink. Because if it's a drastic weight loss, we need to hydrate you. That's the only time I'm a huge proponent of using a scale for that particular reason. But when it comes to strength training, you might not see the needle move on the scale. You might not, but there are other ways to measure progress. Taking photos, trying on clothing. Those are all great. Those are great measures of progress that don't include the scale, because you might not see the scale move. I feel like I say that all the time to clients, and then they're like, yeah, but I didn't lose weight. And you're like, I know. Just keep going, trust the process. It's probably going to take several weeks of a strength training program for you to notice results. You've got to show up consistently. You've got to tweak the program as you go. You have to make sure you're working all different areas, all different planes of movement. And again, that's where a trainer can really help. Speaking of which, that's my 5th tip. Ask for help. Ask for help. Maybe a trainer just isn't in your budget right now, or it's not something that's readily available to you. So you Google it on YouTube. Find a reputable trainer on YouTube to answer those questions. They're going to be general. They're not going to be specific to you, but it's a great place to start. Maybe there is a trainer at the gym that you attend that you can, have for a couple of sessions. Maybe you just keep an accountability buddy and the two of you help each other figure out, form. Oh yeah, that looks good. Or how does that feel? Or help each other track progress, or just keep each other motivated. Ask for help. Ask for help. So those are my 5 tips when it comes to building strength. So we're going to make a plan. That plan's going to include some rest in it. We're going to focus on form. We're going to measure our progress, and we're going to ask for help. Those are my 5 tips. Now, a bonus. I have kind of 7 core strength movements, and I'm saying core strength, not just like your physical core, but core full body overall strength. So I like to focus, there's 7 different categories or types of movements. So you have your squats, your lunges, your push, your pull, your plank or like isometric movement, your carry, and I always add walk in there. So there are 7 different kinds of movements, and the ones that I prescribe probably more often than not to most people, this doesn't necessarily apply to everybody, but I usually have goblet squats on the menu. I love me a goblet squat. Now I do have some clients that I've trained that just squats are we're just not a fan of squats. So we avoid squats, and we do more things like hip thrusts, where you're down on the ground and you lift your hips and you achieve similar results of a squat, but you're not putting the load on your knees. But I love a good squat, and I love a good goblet squat. I love walking lunges and step ups. Oh, those are my favorite. Step up Step up is probably my absolute favorite strength move. It's so powerful, and you can add weight to it. You can have a bar, you can have dumbbells on your shoulders or next to your body. It's just so empowering to be able to step up, and it is such a functional movement because you're probably going to encounter stairs at some point in your life, right? I love a good step up. Push-ups. I love me a classic push-up. I will very likely put push-ups on a training plan. They might be like a incline push-up where your hands are on a bench or a chair instead of on the ground, or they might be against a wall or against a bar. I love a good bar push-up, but those are probably almost always in a training plan that I'll recommend depending on the person again. I love planks. I love plank holds. I love inchworm walkout to plank, and I like any kind of glute work. Bridges are great. Kickbacks are great. Anything that's going to push. And I love to feel that fire and intensity in the glutes. To me, that's like good workout. So those are some of my favorite core movements that I like to do. I like to share with people. They don't necessarily work for everybody, but they might be things that I would encourage people to do. So there you go, a little bonus, some of my favorite movements. And I think on my YouTube page, I might have demonstrations of those types of movements. Definitely maybe like a 5-minute workout for each of those movements. So go check that out on the FWA YouTube page. I love sharing as much free content as I can with people, because I think it's important for everybody to have access to strength and good, solid, foundational workouts. You deserve it. So that's it, how to build strength. And I love getting your questions. That's how I decide what to talk about. So keep sending me your questions, and I'd love to do research and dissect a little bit for this podcast. And I look forward to having more conversations with you in the future. Bye.